Hi, I'm Lori Betz. Welcome to Golden Years. This month, my special guest is Ted Forthofer, and he created a company called Moves Made Easier. So come on back, and we're going to hear what he's all about.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture, you can jump, yell, you can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected.
Welcome back to Golden Years. I'm Lori Betz, and this month I have Ted Forthofer, and we are going to be talking about moving and how he can help you make your move easier. What a unique concept, Ted.
We like it.
How did you create this company?
Well, I wish I had thought of it, but unfortunately it's been done before, probably informally for a number of years. But in 2002, there was actually an association, a trade association formed called the National Association of Senior Move Managers. I think it started in kind of the Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland area, that formed as an association and kind of formalized the process of senior move management. And what that means is it's a group of people who help primarily older adults who are overwhelmed by the thought of residential downsizing, or maybe better put, right-sizing, finding a home, a single level home, a condo, sometimes retirement living that suits the way that they live and fits their current lifestyle, versus the large single family home where maybe they've been for a lot of years. So it's people, senior move managers really help people through that process of selecting what it is they should take to retirement living and going through the whole process of getting there.
Mm-hmm. And to my viewers, because this can be a subject walking on eggs.
Sure.
I'm going through it right now with my mother-in-law. Be easy on your kids, because we're there to help you through this.
Right.
You know, we'll take you anywhere you want to go. You could go walk into a place and say, I want a tour. Mm-hmm. You know, show me what you have to offer. Because they want to fill their buildings, so
right.
They're not going to turn you away.
Right.
You know, have a list of questions. You could have, this place has good points, this place has bad points.
And in some cases, even having a unbiased yet caring neutral third party involved in the process can be more beneficial. What we find a lot of times is the adult children are separated by distance. Maybe they live in another city, state. They have their own careers, job responsibilities, their own families that prevent them from devoting as much time to that residential transition as they would like to devote. And frankly, sometimes just child-parent relationships aren't maybe quite what they need to be to pull off that kind of a large undertaking. So it's easier to turn to a company like ours that does it on a daily basis, that sees all the issues on a regular basis, whereas the large move from a single family home into something much smaller can be really a once-in-a-lifetime move for people. And it's hard to know what to do without some expert advice.
Well, how would a child start the conversation with mom and dad?
Yeah, I think you have to look for not only the person and what they're doing, you know, is there a risk of falling in the home? Mm-hmm. Are the belongings in the home reflect a lifestyle in a time that has passed in their parents' life? You know, if they've conceded to using a lawn service or snow plowing service, is there still a garage full of lawn and garden tools and the tractor and all those things that were used for that purpose and aren't needed anymore? Are there things that belong to their children, maybe even a spouse that has passed, things that are, you know, basically collecting dust that can present a hazard in the home. I was just reading an article that talked about falls in the home and how much they have increased. The number of falls that require emergency room visits have just grown exponentially over the last 10 to 12 years. And some of that is attributed to other health concerns like arthritis or heart disease or whatever. But home clutter certainly contributes to that too.
I've seen it.
And if the older adult is now using a walker, you just think of that physically, another 12 or 18 inches of clearance around furniture and anything that might be sitting on the floor is needed that wasn't needed before. So there's lots of potential for falling, and what really, kind of breaks my heart when I see people who want to move. We love the clients who are very calculated. They've planned their move. They've looked at a lot of places. They have it all kind of mapped out of what they want to do to live somewhere smaller. And then we see the people who are forced out of their homes by a health concern, maybe a fall, a broken hip that kind of starts the process on its way. And those are the tough ones because there's really an unwilling participant in that move. And so kind of getting out in front of that is extremely valuable. And I guess we just like to look at the way that our clients are living, what they do on a daily basis and what items in the home are required to give them the most enjoyment in those things.
And having made that comment that you are removed from the closeness of the family, I'll never forget the one time I was doing a lifeline and I said to the lady with the walker, I said, "What is so important with these throw rugs?" And she says, "I need them because I don't want the dirt getting into my carpet." So I said, "You know what? That's an accident waiting to happen.
Yep.
You are going to fall, whether you have that walker or not."
Absolutely.
Well, the daughter called me up the next day and said, "Thank you so much. As soon as you were in your car, Mom said, get rid of the rugs."
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if we've ever moved a rug because we just don't. It's not a good situation.
And you have to be safe in your surroundings. And the older child notices differences in mom and dad. Like, let's say they're eating different,
Right.
They're not eating, they're not cooking. So maybe it's time for you to say, okay, we need to downsize.
Yeah.
And you have to decide what is valuable. Do you tell them, okay, how do we decide what is
absolutely.
valuable, what is not valuable?
And really, it takes a conversation or a couple conversations. It's getting to know our client and knowing what it is they like to do and can do and enjoy doing. So those are the things, hobbies, craft things, sewing, supplies. Those are the things that we definitely don't want to disrupt if they're moving into a much smaller space. We want to maybe not move the entire collection of yarn, but if there's representative things that we can bring to keep them active in their new home, keep them interested in doing things that they enjoy. I mean, that's what retirement living should be about. So those are the things we like to preserve. Cooking is great, but we see a lot of times people who are moving into a retirement community that offers a meal service, and they've signed up for 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, yet they want to bring all the cookie sheets and pots and pans and cooling racks and all the things that were used for making full-scale meals and hosting the family at holidays and whatever, that really just there isn't space for those things, and it's just not practical. So we look at the practicality of what do they do and what kinds of things are going to make them happy in their new home within reason. Yeah.
With our move, we did move my mother into my mother-in-law into independent living.
Right.
Okay, so she took X amount of furniture, but it was fortunate that we did not sell her condo. But we just said, let's take the furniture to get you situated. You don't have to take everything. Let's see how it fits in the amount of space that's allotted.
Right.
And we could always come back and fill it up if we have a space.
Right. We sometimes people balk at using a service like ours because they think it's going to be too expensive. What is really expensive is when you don't plan the move, and you bring too much with you, and then you find out that it's really not practical to have this piece of furniture in your new home, then you pay to have it moved again, or you spent money to have it moved and give it to charity, or it has to go into storage. That's just drives me crazy when people want to put things in a storage unit because they don't know what to do with them, and there's no end game, there's no plan for those things. They just shove them into a storage unit at $75, $100 a month, and then the storage facility gets them to go on auto pay. So then they don't really even see the money coming out of their bank account, and it's like writing somebody an annuity. I'm really more interested in seeing the planning done to know what will fit in the new home. In fact, we insist on it. We require it when we work with our clients. I mean, they can do it themselves. They can get a measuring tape and a piece of graph paper and a pencil and sketch out their new space and the furniture, their current furniture in the new place, or we do it for them. We have a computer program that actually does it because it's a lot easier to make changes, where we can plan and see what the furniture is going to look like in the new home.
Oh, wow.
I mean, so it saves money in the long run to do all that upfront work and really think about what you're doing ahead of time and not incur that expense of moving something and then moving it a second or third time, or worse yet, putting it into storage. So it really pays in the long run to do that and saves money, I think.
And you help them through this.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you say this is how it's going to start. This is what this is plan A.
Right.
And then we're going to do all these down the list.
This is kind of the timeline of events. We try to work backwards from the intended move date. We will do all this upfront planning, so when we come to start, if it's a local move and it's into a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, usually from the first packing, we bring our own materials, we do the packing for them, we hire and supervise a furniture mover, and then we help them unpack and get everything set up in their new place. So from the first box being packed to the last box being unpacked in a local apartment move is usually 36 hours or less. So the more planning and the more decision making we do up front, then that actual time of disruption from having things in boxes gets shrunk considerably down to like a 2-day process. And the sooner, we go all the way to hanging pictures on walls, connecting electronics, making sure everything works. So the sooner that is behind them, the sooner they can be socializing in a place of retirement, participating in activities, do all those things that retirement should be,
Right.
that brings them enjoyment. So the better you plan, the faster it goes when it comes time, and then the sooner you're back to living.
And they're involved in the plan, so that's a very good idea.
There is, I read a couple things, something called the stress scale. You've probably seen it. There's a number of points assigned to either positive or negative life events that cause stress in a person. Well, among older adults, moving is number 3 on the stress scale. Death of a spouse is number 1, and divorce is number 2, and then moving. So it's a stressful event for people at any age, but when among older adults, when it's combined with possibly failing health, possibly a spouse passing, this moving stress just layers on top and causes people to be overwhelmed more quickly, and really causes some friction sometimes in the family. There's even actually a clinical disease it's called the Handbook of Nursing Diagnosis, and this is officially recognized. There's something called relocation stress syndrome.
Wow. All right, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that.
Sure.
Come on back, and Ted's going to tell us a few more points about moves made easier.
On good days or on bad days, Medina County Office for Older Adults is a place where you can go and it's okay to be yourself. My life was topsy-turvy, and I look upon the day I joined Medina County Office for Older Adults as a day when I did a cartwheel and I landed on my feet.
I called 211.
A free community service that connects you with information about social, health, and government resources specific to Medina County. Call 211 for the info you need 24 hours a day.
211 met my needs.
211 helped my parents.
211 showed me the way.
I called 211.
Welcome back to Golden Years. I'm interviewing Ted Forthofer, and we are talking about moves made easier. And I had to cut him off real quick for a commercial break. So Ted, tell me about this disease.
Sorry about that. It's called relocation stress syndrome. This is in the Handbook of Nursing Diagnosis, and it's, among other things, it's described as physiological or psychological trauma in an older adult caused by lack of control and decision making over a relocation. So you were asking, I think, about letting our clients have control over their move, and absolutely that's essential to having them arrive at their new destination in a good physical and psychological state so that they can begin enjoying life. We work, with families. We team up with adult children in a lot of these cases, and we get a lot of input, but really there's only one boss on the job, and that's the older adult and what they want and what they need, and we want them absolutely to have control over their process.
And you know how to make them feel that way.
Yeah.
The expertise.
We can make suggestions, recommendations, but in the final analysis, it's their move and their decisions.
Some of these houses I go into, these seniors have lived in that house all their lives.
40 years is, I have never done the math, but I think 40 years is pretty typical for our client in a single family home where they raise their children. And in simple terms, I say they are trying to undo 40 years worth of accumulated possessions in 40 days.
Mm-hmm.
To disperse all those things to get to a point of moving, and it's very difficult and impractical in a lot of cases to do it that quickly. We had a gentleman last spring who we helped, who was moving actually for the very first time in his life. He lived in the house where he lived with his parents as a child, and ended up taking over the house and was finally moving into a retirement community after 83 years.
Wow.
So he lived in the same house for 83 years in Euclid.
Oh my. That's a long time.
So imagine
it's a lot
the
of clutter
stress there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because they say some person's junk is someone else's treasure, and
One man's junk's another man's treasure.
yeah,
It
we
can
just
be.
hold on to things. And I'm in my house 35 years, so
Right.
you figure, I have stuff that from day one.
Right. Change is hard. You bring up kids. You still have the stuff that pertain to them, or maybe even belong to them, still in the home, and it's difficult, physically and emotionally to part with a lot of those things. So a lot of times after a move, if we are moving someone to a smaller place, we then go back and deal with all the things that were left behind that are not needed in the new home.
Oh, so you guys don't walk away then?
Oh, absolutely
You help
not.
them through this.
Because the goal there is to get, and oftentimes it's a single family home that they owned, so we need to get the house into a condition where it can be marketed and sold to help them liquidate probably their largest single asset, which is oftentimes that money is needed in retirement. So that's really where we start to work on getting that place to a saleable condition.
So do you have like sales or
we
auctions?
do a number of things. We will arrange for charity donations, if that's what they choose. Either we take the things to the charities or they have the charities come to us. We can ship things. We can ship furniture or just boxes via FedEx, our own account, through FedEx to out-of-town family members or friends. We can simply just recycle or trash a lot of things, or we can sell them. And the way we do that is through online auction, not the traditional in-person estate sale. So the way that works is we have the auctioneer come to the house, spends probably a full day or 2 days even, going through things, selecting good saleable items. We like to have about 250 individual items to make up a sale, but if you look around your house, it's not hard to get to that number. They photograph these items, write a good description, maybe do some research on them. The sale is then posted to one of two websites. We have bidrustbelt.com and notyourmother'sestatesale.com. They're sister websites. The items are posted in one cohesive sale on one of those websites. Those websites get over 100,000 visits per month, so there's huge traffic going to them. Estatesales.net is a real good advertising site for estate sales of all kinds. Well, Not Your Mother's Estate Sale, the one we use, was the most visited seller on estatesales.net in the whole state of Ohio in summer of 14.
Wow.
And there's over 5,500 subscribers to these two websites that we use. So all 5,500 people get an email when a new sale starts, and it would be described at that point as Brunswick moving sale or something like that. There's no addresses given to any house. Nobody comes to the house other than this auctioneer who looked at and inspected all the items and photographed them. The sales run for a week online with the condition that if you are a bidder and win an item in the auction, you must come to the house the day following the end of the auction in a 3-hour time window. It's usually between 4 and 7 p.m. on a weekday. And if you can't make that date, then don't bid. Small things are available for shipping at the bidder's expense. So then when the auction's over, our crew staffs the pickup time, those 3 hours. We are there to help people find what they won. The winning bidders get an invoice with the prices of all the things they purchased and a total, and then they get the address of the house because they have to go there that day to pick up what they won. And then we're there and we take their money. We take cash, PayPal, or credit cards to, and it's an amazing process because in like a 3-hour time period, the house is cleaned out and everything's, for the most part, is gone. So our clients like it a lot. It's a very private process. We've had houses we've worked at where we've talked to the neighbors and they said, hey, isn't there going to be an auction at this house? And I'm like, yeah, it's over with and you didn't even notice. It's that private. It just looks like you're having a lot of people over your house for a dinner or something like that. But it's really the winning bidders coming to pick up what they bought. And it's not dependent on weather. I mean, if you're running a garage sale or a physical traditional estate sale, you better hope that the 3 days you have it, the 3 days worth of people going through your house are good weather, or else your turnout's going to be low and you're not going to get the results you would like. In our case, with the online auctions, we kind of hope for bad weather, so people are home looking at their computers and bidding. Winter, is no problem for us because it's all done virtually and very privately. So it's our clients like the process quite a bit, and we get competitive prices, same as you would get in a traditional auction.
It's very good. Good.
Yep.
They know house traffic, so that's good.
Right.
What an
So,
idea.
and that's the other part that people like. They're trying to sell their house, and the last thing they want is 3 days worth of people going through and rummaging through their house. Here, it's just really a concentrated 3-hour period.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, on your website, can like a daughter, son, go on there and how to start the conversation with mom. Are there like questions, or what is it time, to pack up and start moving things?
Yeah, we describe a lot of the services on the website that we just offered here. There's a form for inquiries that people want to just have the phone conversation if, daughter is in California or somewhere and wants to just talk about it, then certainly they can leave their name and phone number on there. We can call them back. Nothing really can take the place of an in-home consultation. If we can just go spend an hour or two with the senior, talk to them in their home, again, like I was talking about earlier, talk about the things that they like to do, just hear what's important to them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
There can be, the curio full of Hummels, maybe the most important thing to them.
That's their treasure.
That's their treasure. So we respect that, and we just want to know what's important to them. Talk about how life might look like keep the end in mind and kind of work backwards. And like I say, do a lot of that planning that we talked about earlier that makes the move day and the day after go so much smoother, so much easier.
So Ted, what do you want to leave with my viewers? One good piece of advice.
Well, if you're looking for someone, a move manager, kind of a quasi-family member to help through the downsizing or right-sizing process, I would ask anyone you call, are they insured and bonded?
Good point.
This is we're in people's homes, going through their precious belongings, and if, God forbid, something unforeseen were to happen, is that company that you might use insured and bonded? Can they provide you proof of insurance? Have they been trained? Did they just, this is basically an unregulated industry. Moving companies are heavily regulated by the government, but move managers, not so much. So I would want to know if you have, what kind of training have you gone through? What kind of certifications? Or did you just wake up one morning and decide you want to be a move manager? Have you passed a test? Have you passed an independently accredited test to become a move manager? What about your employees? Are they actually your employees? If they do a bad job, can they be fired? Or are they just day laborers who came from the local agency and might be working somewhere else tomorrow? And also, what kinds of businesses is that move manager also in? I mean, are they just doing this as an entree to, get a listing to sell the house as a real estate agent, or are they looking for something else in the way of financial planning or whatever, or is helping seniors relocate their primary business? Also, long distance. We can do long distance moves. I talked earlier about this 800 plus member international trade association that we belong to. Well, everybody in the association met the same requirements and has the same certifications that we do. So we can work with them on a long distance move. For instance, we could plan the move, pack somebody up, hire the mover, get them on their way in Cleveland, and work with a senior move manager in Florida to meet the moving truck on the other end, unpack everything, get it set up, and get them settled in, because they've met the same requirements that we have as a move manager.
Less stress on you, the
Absolutely.
person. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Well, Ted, thank you so much for being on Golden
thanks for having us,
Years.
Lori.
And to my viewers, if you're thinking about moving, jump on his website, see what he suggests, and by all means, either email him or pick up the phone and give him a call. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next month. And stay warm.